Well, joining me now is Mr. Andrew Knill, who is former chair of the Patient Advisory Board of EUFOREA. Andrew, thank you very much indeed for joining me. Let me start by asking you, why is it important to have a document like EPOS4Patients?
Thanks very much. I'm actually, I'm a chronic rhinosinusitis patient myself, and I sat on the committee that created the EPOS guidelines. And to give you an idea, they're 500 pages long. And even though it's a really useful document, it's not particularly accessible from a patient point of view. We know that there's patient interest in the document. Even the other week, I had an email from a lady in Italy who was a patient who'd gone through the document herself to find out what her treatment options were. So we know that there was interest in it from a patient point of view, but we wanted to make it more concise and more accessible. So we cut this down to about 60 pages, but then also kind of adapted the language so it was more patient friendly, and also made sure that the content in it reflected the questions that we get asked from a patient point of view. And it's important because patients are asking these questions, that there isn't enough information out there, and something like EPOS4Patients is going to help answer, I think, a lot of questions that people have.
I mean, that's quite a task that you went through to go from 500 pages down to 60 and also change the language. I assume you believe that this will then benefit patients because, as you say, you're giving information in a way they understand, and they will have more understanding of their own condition.
Yeah, I mean, understanding what you've been diagnosed with is an important part of your journey. And wherever you are in that journey, you will have questions, whether it is just to understand more about your condition, whether it's to understand the treatment options that are available to you and your particular point of the journey. And also another great thing that EPOS4Patients can do is to signpost patients towards other sources of information where they might need sort of further support about smell loss or particular conditions like Samter's triad. So that's where I think it really kind of fills a gap that was needed to be filled.
And what's the feedback been so far?
Well, I'd love to say there's been loads, but as we speak now, it was only last weekend that it was made available online on something called PubMed. But, you know, there were patients that have been involved in creating this document. It certainly wasn't myself. I had a small contribution to it. There's healthcare professionals that have been involved as well. And everyone that's been involved with it knows that it's a good document. And, you know, we look forward to getting some positive feedback as time goes on.
So the big question then is, how do patients get hold of it? How do they find the information?
Yeah, good question. So at the moment, it's available on something called PubMed, which is a site that lists lots and lots of clinical documents. If you go into Google and put in EPOS4Patients, so EPOS, the number 4 and patients, and PubMed, PUBMED, it will come up in a Google search, and that's the main way of accessing it. It's also in Rhinology, which is a journal for clinicians, and we're certainly going to be looking over the coming months to get it more widely available as well.
Well, I wish you a great deal of success with it. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Andrew Knill.
Thanks very much.